Welcome to the Lewan Technology Managed IT Services podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Wick. Today I'll be speaking with Scott Pelletier, CTO of Lewan, around security, cloud, and data protection. So Scott, what are the key challenges managed services address for today's enterprise?
Well, I'd say there's a few different areas that we really try to key in to make sure we're helping the IT end users and the business leaders within the companies that we address. I'd say those areas around consistency, capacity, and capability. As most of the companies we work with aren't IT as their business, they're the manufacturing or oil and gas or banking or financial, whatever it might be. Our ability to make sure that they have a consistent IT delivery platform. We address capacity issues around having economies of scale that the customers oftentimes don't have the luxury of having, especially with certain aspects of subject matter experts in particular spots of IT management, and also capability, of course, that goes along with the capacity. So we have the luxury of hiring the capacity and capability that we can leverage across multiple customers to give them, again, that consistency that we strive to deliver. And another aspect of that is the tools that we have that we can utilize for automation, best practices, and policy adherence. That, again, it's really difficult for a lot of, especially the SMB enterprises, to really build those in-house.
Tell us more about the key managed services Lewan provides.
I'd say some of the ones that we provide, and some of these make us very unique in the combination of how they're actually implemented and constructed. End user service desk is a huge one for us, which is really we are the end user service desk for the customer, the individual employees that are IT consumers and call us directly. So it's not like we're just a back-end IT infrastructure company that the customer would then coordinate with. We literally are the face to the end users directly, which is a great value add for our customers. We also do kind of traditional management and monitoring the infrastructure, kind of a must-have when you do these sort of things, to make sure you're understanding the capacity of the infrastructure, the availability and the performance, and make sure that all those things are being taken care of, and the upkeep. You make sure patches and the sort of maintenance activities are happening as well. We also do a lot with cloud-based backup. So whether a customer's in our cloud-based infrastructure or they're a premise-based customer, either way we can get their data offsite and protect it both locally and remote, which a lot of customers really find that service not only necessary from a risk perspective, but also like the high level of service. We actually do all the restores for the customer as well as the backups, testing, and monitoring of that solution as well. The next one that seems to be really hot these days is our infrastructure as a service, which is the ability for a customer to either completely avoid buying infrastructure on-premise and or complementing their on-premise solution with a disaster recovery component in the cloud, where we can replicate their data and their compute and workloads to our infrastructure as a service platform. We have both a private cloud version and a shared cloud version, so it's pretty flexible for our customers to leverage, and we're beginning to leverage that platform more and more. We also do have a managed security aspect to what we do, so we can do the firewall and IPS and IDS and all the sort of network-based security, log monitoring, and that sort of thing. Take that off the customer's plate altogether as well. It's really tough to find security experts, especially in a 24/7 manner, to manage and monitor those sort of elements. And last but not least is our print management aspect, so we can help customers with their print management costs, and that's all about printing less, printing smarter, and we can help customers with that aspect as well.
What are the best practices for determining the right mix of managed services, and how does Lewan help enterprise IT managers integrate managed services with their in-house capabilities?
Yeah, that's something we had to kind of learn the hard way, if you will. We definitely took us some time to try to determine. You can go as simple as just trying to count people and devices. That's not good enough, we've learned. And over the last few years in doing this, we determined there is a very distinct process by which we not only solution a customer, but also onboard a customer to make sure that we're addressing the right need. So we go through a very well-defined process around understanding the customer's need, the environment, their culture, who the VIP users are within the environment, the impact of a certain area within the customer. If you lose this accounting or whatever the department might be, how that impacts the customer and what times of the month that could be more critical based on the processing. And so we found to do a very much a deeper discovery process. It's much more business level. Of course, there's a technology aspect, but we want to make sure we understand the specific need, how they're doing it today, how much they're spending today, such that when we come in, we can do those sort of things that are at a higher level of quality and consistency, but also, again, try to save them money at the same time with our ability to address the capacity and capabilities with our economies of scale.
So, Scott, what are the options for enterprises interested in implementing cloud services? You mentioned that there are a few different ones that you provide. And how do you address concerns about business critical data and application in cloud scenarios?
Yeah, we've definitely taken a kind of a hybrid approach there. So we've not forsaken our on-premise sort of solution, IT infrastructure solutions. So we take the customer to the extent that they're comfortable. So what we'll do is we'll kind of analyze where they're at. If they're a brand new business, obviously those are very much sweet spots for cloud-based infrastructure because they don't have an existing investment. For those that have an existing investment, we have to try to figure out where they are in their investment life cycle to make sure that we're putting the right things in the cloud and not spending their money twice, if you will. And then there's a whole comfort level, as you kind of mentioned. It's not just cloud or on-prem based on finances. There's also a comfort level based on security, where my data is, SSA 16, kind of certified sort of approach, which of course we are, can provide those solutions to our customers in that way. So we find customers that want to maybe walk before they run. What if they're not doing disaster recovery at all anyway? There's much less risk by doing disaster recovery to the cloud because they're not doing it anyway. So there's not much to risk there. Others want to maybe have another customer that QA and test dev out there first. Now they're doing DR second, and their eventual is production. So we kind of evaluate their comfort level. And of course, on our side, what we want to do is we had to go through this ourselves. We are also a cloud-based customer as well as an on-premise-based customer, and so we had to go through the same analysis. So we wanted to make sure the security and the compliance and all those sort of things that we have to go through are being dealt with internally. So therefore, we can of course help our customers gain that same level of comfort along their journey.
That leads us to a fundamental question for many enterprise decision makers. Are managed services secure and compliant? Scott, what technologies do you deploy to provide the network, infrastructure, and data protection?
We have a few ways to approach that, again, based on the customer's current infrastructure, if they're a premise-based customer, if they're a cloud-based customer, or if they're a hybrid. So we will often leverage the technology they have. If we feel there's a deficiency that needs to be addressed, we can put in technology that we know can bring them to the levels of security and compliance that we feel are necessary to be secure and compliant. And again, in the cloud-based technologies, we want to make sure we do the same there as well. We are very proud of the cloud platform that we use. We believe it provides a high degree of security and multi-tenancy that for our customers, and it's based on a Intel Open Compute 2.0 technology as well as NetApp storage infrastructure, and we feel that we've got a kind of a great platform there. We see customers using that infrastructure not only for primary compute and storage and network access and control, but also for cloud-based disaster recovery, complementing their data protection scheme by not only with our backup technologies, but also disaster recovery to the cloud.
So let's talk value to the customer. What benefits can managed services bring to an organizations and their end users?
Yeah, the three things we kind of focus on there are risk reduction, efficiency, and business and IT alignment. So we look at how can we reduce risk for the organization. That IT is in a lot of ways, a cost center for many of these companies. It can be considered a necessary evil in some ways. So how can we reduce risk to the organization by whether it's around security, data protection, and also just making sure their end users are efficient. Kind of brings us to our next point. So from an efficiency standpoint, if they are having an issue, whether it's downtime, something's not working on their desktop, whatever it might be, how can we address that as quickly as possible to make sure that their end users are productive and understand the impact that a particular issue may be having on a particular department? Maybe it's multiple end users. So assessing the priority and the impact of the situation to again try to restore service as quickly as possible. We use ITIL based best practices around incident management, problem management, configuration management, or change management to make sure that we're trying to have a process-based approach with more consistency to help our customers. And then from a business and IT alignment, how can we make IT a valued asset to that business versus just a cost center and what is often considered a necessary evil? How can we align the business and IT. How do we understand what the business is trying to accomplish? How can IT enable that and even accelerate it? And so we want to make sure we're doing, keeping the wheels on the bus, but also making sure it's being kind of driven in the right direction.
And you mentioned Intel and McAfee a moment ago. Can you talk more about the role that Intel technologies or solutions play in Lewan's service portfolio?
Intel's been a great partner to us. Everything from our appliances that we put on the customer's premise, those are all Intel-based solutions, virtualized appliances running on Intel technology, and the services we stand up on there to provide to our customers are all running on those appliances. For example, again, we use some of their security products in the cloud-based security products to help our customers from an endpoint and data protection security aspect of things. And again, our cloud is also all based on Intel Open Compute 2.0 and NetApp storage infrastructure, all Intel-based as well. And Intel has also helped us in ways, such as this podcast, helping us out with other ways to market our solutions to our customers and connect our customers to us.
So, Scott, is there anything we haven't covered around Lewan's managed service offerings that you would like to communicate to your audience?
Well, I think one thing that we have that's kind of unique is the ability to be so comprehensive. Again, everything from print management to IT infrastructure to end user support to security to cloud and all the combinations that kind of go along with it. Since we are a traditional VAR integrator as well as a managed service provider, we have a lot of expertise in all these different areas and various levels of depth. So I think our ability to be so comprehensive, if it plugs into a wall and has an IP address associated with it, we can take care of it as well as the end users that touch those devices and interact with the technology. So I think from a comprehensive solution approach, we have a very unique offering in the market.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you all for listening. For more information, be sure to visit www.lewan.com.